Destination, freedom. Listen, it's the Freedom Bell.
Aye, the Freedom Bell, my friends. And this is Paul Revere, called back from the shadows by the sound of the Freedom Bell to cry again a warning that the price of freedom is eternal vigilance.
Destination Freedom is presented by station WMAQ in the interest of human freedom the world over. Paul Revere is the symbol of warning, ready to ride down the skies to shout his alarm. His destination now and forever, freedom.
Today, on the eve of this year of crisis, I have a true story to tell. It is the story of John, Alma, Johnny, and Myra. These are their given names. Their last name must remain anonymous for obvious reasons. I visited John and his family the other night with an interpreter. You see, John and his family are Latvian, displaced persons, who've come to America this year, 1950. Tonight, John, Alma, Johnny, and Myra celebrate their first new year in America. To look at them, you would never think their lives had been in danger, yet in Latvia in August 1939, when our story begins, certain diplomats were celebrating the signing of an infamous treaty, the Treaty of Non-Aggression and Mutual Assistance between Latvia and the Soviet Union.
John, what's that?
The Russians are blasting again, Alma. It's only dynamite. Do not worry, Alma.
Blasting? Why?
For bomb shelters, gun emplacements.
Oh, they'll wake our baby. Oh, what did I tell you?
I know, Alma, but we can do nothing about it. Just make the best of it.
The best of it. They've been here only 3 weeks, and this province is rocking as though a volcano were seething in our midst. Oh, see who it is, John. I have to comfort the baby.
All right, Alma, all right. I was a director in a small Latvian cooperative store. One of my clerks had run in haste to my apartment, saying that a strange man had issued orders for me to come and see him at once at the store. Following the lad, I entered my store. It was empty, the customers having been cleared out, apparently, for our meeting.
You're the manager of this store?
Yes.
I am Comrade Catch.
I was at my lunch. Why do you wish to see me?
I sent for you because I wish you to make a report of your inventory.
You want me to... Look here, who are you? By what right do you order my employees to disturb me?
John, I am an official of the occupation.
So what?
I'm afraid you do not understand.
Understand what?
This store, your store, is now open under new management.
It happened just like that. What use to protest? To whom could I appeal? It was the same story everywhere in Latvia. Our store was thenceforward known as the Latvian Cooperative of the Soviet Union. And I, the manager, was demoted to the rank and pay of a clerk. One morning, about 3 weeks after the new management, I entered the store and...
John!
Yes, Comrade Koch.
Come into the office.
Well, here I am.
I have unpleasant news for you.
Unpleasant?
Sad would be a better word. It's about that freight clerk.
Edward?
Yes, I believe that was his name.
What about him?
Edward will not be at work today.
Is something wrong with him? Nobody told me he was...
Ill? Is that what you were going to say, John?
Yes.
He is not ill. He has been arrested.
But what for?
John, Edward was not sympathetic.
Good Lord, not sympathetic. Not sympathetic to what?
To the Soviet Union, of course. You didn't know that?
How would I know?
You mean to infer you never talk to your employees?
Does a manager discuss politics with his help?
Politics? Communism is a religion. There is no other true belief. John, Do you know what happens to those who do not believe?
They are punished, I suppose.
Punished? No, John. They are liquidated.
It was not long after this incident that the assistant of the new Russian cashier also turned up missing one morning. Reports began to trickle in, by word of mouth, of course, that many employees in the cooperatives had left their jobs under mysterious circumstances. Then the press, which also had been taken over by the Soviets, published the names of some of the missing, informing relatives where they might find the remains. The weeks passed, and suddenly it was Christmas Eve. Alma, the baby, and we had been invited to attend a party. It was a gathering, that's about all. Merriment was strained, laughter forced.
John, come and have some punch, huh?
Oh, be sure to have John try the roll.
Oh, yes, plenty, of course.
No, Paul.
Oh, but you must, John. I insist.
Really, Paul, I'm not hungry.
You're not hungry?
No.
Oh, now, what kind of an excuse is that, huh?
It's them.
Well, don't just stand there, everybody. Someone must open the door. Now, is no one polite enough to open the door for a stranger on Christmas Eve?
Paul, Hey, everybody, do not be alarmed. It is probably just a neighbor to inquire about the gaiety. I will open the door.
Which one of you is John?
I am John.
What's the meaning of this? Why do you come like this on the eve of Christmas? Can't you let us alone?
Alma, be still. I am sure there must be some reason.
There is. Come along.
We went down the stairs and out into the night. The air was bitter cold. We walked in silence until we came to the store. I was told to enter, which I did.
John, you are prompt.
I try always to be, Comrade Koch.
This is good, John, because you have no time to waste.
Am I to be taken away?
What? John, this is amazing. Oh, you work only here, tonight.
Work here?
Yes. John, I wish a complete inventory by 12 o'clock noon. Today.
By 12 o'clock it was done. I was exhausted. I turned in my report to the police sergeant or agent, whichever he was, and returned home, oddly enough, by way of the Freiheits Boulevard and the Freedom Boulevard. As I walked in the front door of my apartment, I thought my wife Alma was staring at a ghost.
John.
Alma!
Oh, John, you're back. You're not hurt.
Oh, please. No, Alma. I'm all right.
But what did they do to you, John? Where have you been all this time? Oh, let me look. Are you sure?
Oh, come. I am starving.
Yes, right away. I made no Christmas meal, John. I thought...
Oh, please, Alma. I am here. I am all right. Now, come. Let's eat.
Yes. I'm so thankful. Yes, eat.
I told Alma about the experiences of the preceding night, all the work, the unreasonableness of the thing. I had done complete inventories for them many times before, and recently. Nevertheless, Comrade Koch seemed to take delight in that he had broken up our Christmas party. It was now 1941. We were beginning our second year of terror and waiting. Outside of that one incident on Christmas, no other acts of intolerance were performed on either myself or my immediate family. But the fear of what might occur was there, constantly gnawing away. At night, while Alma slept, I would lie awake trying to figure a way out. But try as I might, there was no way out. The months passed by, and we remained untouched. I was being watched at the store, yes, but otherwise. Then, the afternoon of the 14th of June, Alma's mother was taken. She owned a small sandwich concession down at the railroad depot. That was her only crime, ownership. We never saw nor heard from her again. I still only suspected it, but I could sense from the look in Comrade Koch's eyes and his changing manner toward me that I was soon to be replaced. Alma and I began to plan to leave Latvia. But while our plans were forming, the framework of the war had altered. The so-called Soviet-German Treaty of Non-Aggression had broken down, and German armies were rolling toward Latvia. And at the cooperative store, my Russian boss was making hasty preparations for his departure. Are you leaving, Comrade Koch?
Yes, don't bother me now.
I hear the news is not good. The Nazis
I
are...
know all about the Nazis, the treacherous devils. You had better come with me to the safety of Russian soil, John. If you wait for the Han, you'll be slaughtered like swine.
Perhaps I can help you.
No, I have all the papers I need. Take my advice. You had better leave with the Russians.
I must stay to take inventory, Comrade Koch. To whom shall I give my report?
Save it. Save all of them. The Soviet army shall return. You wait. You shall see it.
Good riddance. Is he gone?
Yes, John.
And the cashier? What about him, Richard?
All of them have gone, John.
Good. You watch the door, Richard. Let no one in. I am going to search this mess of papers and try to get some order here. During my search, I found a paper. It was an order designating July 28th, a mere 3 weeks away, as the date for my arrest and deportation. Shortly after the Russians left, our second child, a girl, was born. Our plans to escape were shelved for fear of the hardships we knew would be in store for us. One day, shortly after the arrival of the German officials, a Latvian walked into the store, looked around, and then he dropped a small wad of paper from his hand just as he closed the door behind him. I ignored the paper for an hour or more. Then, passing this spot, I picked it up, stuffed it into my pocket, waiting until I arrived home that night to read its contents.
Who is it?
It's me, Alma. Alma, come quickly here.
What are you saying, dear?
I said come here, Alma.
What's happened, John? Why do you look at me that way?
It's happening again. Spies.
Spies? What spies? What do you mean?
Look at this note. See here what it says. You are under suspicion. The German officials have assigned 2 agents to watch you. Be careful. If I hear any news, I shall communicate. Do not be alarmed by visitors or officials yet.
What does this mean? Visitors or officials?
I'm not sure, Alma, but we are at least now being warned. Suddenly, by trainloads, buses, and trucks, hundreds of Latvians were rounded up by German police and shipped to the west. One morning, upon entering the store, my 2 German shadows followed me. Without warning, they cornered me and ordered me to return to my home at once. I was told to have my wife report to the railroad depot with the children within the hour. Get the children, Alma. Get blankets.
Merciful God. John, what are they going to do?
I don't know, Alma. All I know is that we've been ordered to be at the railroad station within the hour. We must hurry. Hide all our papers here. I'll help.
My baby. My baby.
They pushed Alma and the children into a coach. I tried to push my way in with them, but it was no use. The German police pulled me away and ordered me to go back to my place of business. I returned, in a daze, unable to comprehend the tragedy. During the following days, I pleaded with the German officials. They wouldn't tell me where they had sent Alma and the children. The answer was always, "Es tut mir leid. I'm sorry." Then, a week later, a letter from Eisbuta, near the Baltic Sea. The handwriting was Alma's.
My darling, just a few words to let you know that I am safe at the home of our friends. You know who I mean. We arrived here at night. The train stopped. No guards at the station. Many of us escaped. God's great blessing be with you, as it has been with us. Alma.
That same night, I packed a small suitcase, stole outside the city limits, through the guards, the barricades, and headed for Eisbuta. The nightmare of that trip I shall never forget. Hiding during the daytime, gritting my teeth from the icy blasts at night, step by step, Eisbuta came closer. I gauged my distance to arrive at night. The city was like a graveyard. An occasional drunken soldier or a patrol were the only sign of life. I arrived at the home and slid through the shadows to the rear porch. A patrol! I had to hold my breath so long my heart almost collapsed for lack of oxygen. I reached the door, finally, and knocked. No answer. I tried again. Something stirred in the hallway behind the door. I could see the ugly black snout of a pistol come toward me in the darkness.
Who are you?
John.
The name of your baby?
Myra.
You may come in.
We were together again, and in the home of our friends we plotted our next move. The details had almost been planned to the letter, when Eisbuta became the scene of another Nazi roundup of slave laborers, and the net closed around us once more. This time our friends were caught also, and our ration books taken away from us, as we were all herded into trucks and whisked down to the docks where the Lapland, a German military transport, was waiting to depart. It did so shortly, docking the next morning at Danzig. We were unloaded and herded into an open field where the Germans served us tea, coffee, and sandwiches. There were no shelters, very few guards. During the evening I heard the city of Lutzmannstadt mentioned. To me it meant nothing, but Alma's reaction to this news was terrifying.
Lutzmannstadt? Who told you?
I overheard the guard by the water tank.
Do you know what that place is, John?
No.
On the train to Eisbuta, I heard of it. It's a concentration camp, John. I'd rather be dead.
Dead, yes. Alma, escape from here would be quite simple if we started now. At the edge of the crowd there were some crates. Alma and I, each carrying a child, edged through the crowd and sneaked behind the crates. Soon we were well into the city of Danzig. I headed for an autobahn, the highway leading to Gdynia, where we knew other Latvians to be, last-minute conscriptees into the German army. But how to reach Gdynia, many kilometers and many sentry posts away.
Hey! You over there!
John,
It's German sailor.
You! Hey! What are you doing out this late? Let's see your passport.
I'm going to the depot.
Depot? That's a good one. No trains tonight?
No, well, tomorrow.
Where are you going this time of night?
My wife and I are going back to Gdynia, and...
It's an emergency. My mother is not expected to live.
Gdynia! Well, I'm going to Gdynia myself tonight.
Flying?
No, I am taking a truck, an ammunition truck. There would be room, but...
I have very little money. However, I have a little vodka. Here.
Vodka? Well, I'm not so choosy. Give me that bottle.
Here you are.
All right. Now, after I get through, we'll sit down and talk this over.
The sailor got drunk very quickly. He became mean and threatened to turn us over to the military. However, I assured him there would be more vodka in Gdynia, and that made him change his mind. After a cold, miserable ride, we arrived in Gdynia only to find that Stalin's armies were now marching westward. Hitler's juggernaut stalled, staggered, and began falling back. I found the Latvian conscriptees, and they arranged to hide us in their boxcars when their orders called for a move. Suddenly, they were ordered to retreat. Alma, the children, and I found ourselves in one of Hitler's boxcars in protective custody of the Latvian German soldiers. 12 days later, on the outskirts of Schleswig, Denmark, our train stalled. That night, planes converged on us from all directions.
War, bombs, death, destruction. A little boy and a baby. No home, no heat, no water now, no decent food. John, I'm tired and sick. Look at our children. Oh, how I wish my mother and father had gone to America when Uncle went.
America. Why not? If we could only survive the war, perhaps. But survival came first.
Yeah?
Please, my family and I have been bombed out of our lodging. I can work. See, my hands are strong. I was raised on a farm. I have done business with farmers.
Ach, Kurve. Bettler.
Peasants.
Fools.
Thieves.
We went from farm to farm, always the same answer. Finally, I changed my approach. I would be like them until my chance to escape.
What do you want?
Heil Hitler. I appeal to you in the name of the Führer.
What do you need?
The farmer knew I was not German, but the mention of Hitler's name worked magic. He gave us a room, about a half pint of milk a day for the baby. It was not enough, but it kept her alive until the British liberated that section and moved us to a DP camp housing nearly 1,000 Latvian, Polish, and Russian nationals. The camp was situated near Schleswig. The water was dirty. There was no soap. Our diet consisted of turnip soup, bread, margarine, and 1 ounce of meat per person per day. All told, 1,200 calories a day. One night, shortly after we arrived at the DP camp, I came in time to see Alma sealing a letter.
John,
Oh, I'm tired, Alma. You're writing?
to my uncle in Chicago, in America, John.
Wonderful, Alma, wonderful. Tell him we are alive, well. Tell him how lucky he is to have missed... What's going on outside? Put out the light, Alma.
What's happening, John?
I can't tell, Alma. I'm not going to rush out either. Morning will tell the story. And the story was horrible. During the night, Russian bands had carted away 200 DPs, kidnapped them from under the noses of the British. The International Refugee Organization took action, transferring us to another camp near Flensburg, Germany. Guards were set up by the DPs themselves. The Russians succeeded in another raid, disguised in British uniforms. Precautions were doubled, and only then did they leave us alone. Time dragged endlessly. It was the same thing from day to day, interrupted only by periodic screening by the British.
Your name?
John.
Nationality?
Latvian.
When do you wish to return to Latvia?
We do not wish to return. We want to go to America.
Thousands of you are waiting, rotting in these camps. You all want the same thing, to go to America. Why don't you go home? We can arrange your transportation now.
Over a period of 2 years, we waited for the papers. Alma's uncle had written his assurance to the authorities that we would be employed in America. The summer of 1949 dragged by while we waited for our papers. I was summoned to appear before the board one August morning.
John, you and your family are leaving.
Leaving? Where?
You're being transferred to another camp, Lubeck.
Lubeck, just like the others. Barracks, dirty floors, filth everywhere. But now it was early in 1950. The papers which had been processed in 1949 had expired. Then we began the whole process over again. Screening, affidavit, interviews, another transfer to a camp in Ventdorf. Transfer to Camp Groen. Then, at 4 a.m. Who's there?
John,
Yes?
wake up your family quietly, John. Your papers are in order. Your boat leaves for America today.
This is the story of John, Alma, their children, Johnny and Myra. It is a true story. I know them well. John brought his family to Chicago and is living in a small apartment. He works in a printing factory. His wife, who is learning English, works in a small laboratory. Johnny and Myra are in school here in Chicago. They speak English without a trace of accent. Freedom has built up their bodies and built up their minds. This is their first new year in America. May God grant that the years ahead will erase the memories they want to forget and bestow the blessings of liberty upon them, always.
Paul Revere, portrayed by Maurice Copeland, will return next Sunday to narrate the next chapter in the story we call Destination Freedom. Presented by station WMAQ in the interest of human freedom the world over. Today's script was written by Bob Eklund and produced under the direction of John Collins. Arthur Peterson played John, and Hope Summers was Alma. Other members of the cast were Paul Barnes, Kurt Kupfer, and Russ Reed. The special music was composed by Emil Soderstrom and was played by Helen Morton and Jose Bethencourt. Our engineer was George Wilson, sound effects by Cliff Mueller. And now this is Charles Mountain reminding you the sound of the Freedom Bell is your invitation to follow Paul Revere along the road to Destination Freedom. This is NBC, the national broadcasting company.